We have come to the finale of this series. After analyzing 5 out of the 6 fights between the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers and the Miyagi Fang fighters, we have a single battle left. It is now time to compare the loners of each team, Robby Keene versus Tommy Oliver. As usual, let's begin with a summary. Robby Keene was born on February 4th, 2002, the son of the 2-time All-Valley champion Johnny Lawrence and Shannon Keene. Robby would grow apart from his father and fall in with a really bad crowd. Shannon would try and raise Robby on her own, but eventually he would become friends with Trey and Cruz, 2 rotten kids who were known to steal and scam from people. That is, until he wanted revenge on his dad after finding out he was training another kid, Miguel Diaz. He would go to his father's enemy, Daniel LaRusso, and begin training in Miyagi-Do karate. Robby would eventually start dating Samantha LaRusso, but after finding out that she had kissed Miguel, her ex-boyfriend, a school fight would break out, and Robby would be in the center of it. After this school fight, he would kick Miguel Diaz off a banister and would be sent to juvie. After coming out of juvie and facing down fighters like Sean Payne, he would end up going to Cobra Kai, which was now under John Kreese. After being corrupted in Cobra Kai, he would see the error of his ways when he saw his own reflection through Kenny Payne. He would apologize to Miguel, Johnny, and Daniel and begin being one of the main stakes in taking down Cobra Kai. During his time in Cobra Kai, he would slowly fall in love with Tori Nichols, and the two are in a relationship. He is now one of the main 6 fighters representing Miyagi-Do. Robby went from being a lost kid to finding his way through Miyagi-Do. Tommy Oliver was a young boy, born to 2 parents. He and his brother would be adopted by separate people, and he would have no memory of his brother. Tommy would begin training in martial arts at a young age. Tommy would eventually end up moving to Angel Grove, where he would meet the other Rangers, and was chosen by Rita Repulsa as the evil Green Ranger. The spell on Tommy would eventually be broken, and he would join the team until he lost his powers due to the Green Candle. Before he did lose his powers completely, Tommy would be killed by an alternate version of himself, called Lord Draken. But eventually, our good Green Ranger, Tommy Oliver, would join the Rangers and fight against Lord Draken during the Shattered Grid event. Tommy would eventually later join the team again as the White Ranger and take Jason's spot as the leader of the team. Tommy's journey as the White Ranger would continue as he would eventually have to lead the charge against Dark Spectre in the Darkest Hour storyline. Tommy's journey as a Ranger wouldn't stop at the White Ranger. He would eventually become the White Ninjetti Ranger, Zeo Red Ranger, the first Turbo Red Ranger, and the Black Dino Thunder Ranger. He would continue his Ranger duties even as he got older. Tommy would date Kimberly Ann Hart for a long while until the two broke up in Power Ranger Zeo. Tommy would eventually date Catherine Hillard, the second Pink Ranger, and the two would even get married. He would later also have a child named J.J. Oliver. A legendary Ranger who had a troubled beginning would eventually become one of the most legendary Rangers of all time. Alright, our final matchup is set. Let's see who wins between Tommy Oliver or Robby Keene, and begin round 6. But again, let's go over the rules one last time. We will be analyzing the characters in 5 points of criteria: strength, speed, tricks, IQ, and experience. Whomever has the edge over the other in a factor will gain a point, and in the end, the fighter with the most points wins. Our Rangers cannot use weapons or powers, and no Zords are allowed either. We will be analyzing the characters as a whole, so we will be pulling from all mainstream appearances of both the Miyagi Fangs and the Rangers. We won't be counting injuries. Things like Miguel's back will not be a hindrance to his abilities, but instead used as a point in analyzation. I will do my best to analyze the Power Ranger fights only when they are unmorphed, and I will also try not to be biased to any one side. So with the rules set, and fighters ready, let's begin the final round.
Who's next?
Right. It's morphin' time! Dragon Sword!
Alright, let's begin our final fight with strength, starting with Tommy. Tommy, of course, is seen consistently training throughout the entire series in martial arts. He's also shown working out regularly with Jason and Zach. Tommy continues to build up strength through it all, fighting putties. Even before he received any of the powers, he is still able to hold his own against multiple putties. Tommy has even gone toe-to-toe with the Ninja Turtles and the Shredder. Although not exactly in his prime, we see that Tommy has the strength to kick a T-Rex in the face. Tommy continues to train when he's fighting against the putties, and of course, like the others, he builds up the strength when fighting them. Tommy continues to fight against Z-Putties, Tengas, Cogs, Piranhatrons, Tyrannodrones, and even Thralls. Tommy is shown to be able to take on more monsters unmorphed as well. Although in a dream-like vision, Tommy was able to fight off Lord Zed and prove himself worthy of Saba in the Power Rangers comics. We've seen Tommy go against Goldar on multiple occasions, specifically in the episodes The Green Candle and Green No More. We also know Tommy is very strong, as we saw him fight multiple Rangers on his own in Fighting Spirits and in Mighty Morphin Mutants. Like we have said, when you morph, your physical strength increases dramatically. In some other sources, we can also see that Tommy has held his own against the likes of Ryu. Now, let's take a look at Robby Keene. Robby is shown to be one of the most resilient fighters of all of these characters, being able to take on Sean Payne and multiple other fighters at the same time. But he does lose the first time, but the second time around, he's able to come out on top. Robby has been shown to train in Miyagi-Do, but later in Eagle Fang and Cobra Kai, which both focus on strength training. Robby has also been shown to take on enemies who are a lot bigger than him. In Season 3, he was able to fight against Johnny, but Johnny was holding back. He was also one of the main fighters to defend the eggs against Chosen Taguchi. Robby has also fought against surfers in Mexico alongside Johnny. Robby has also fought against Terry Silver. Robby is also the only other character in Cobra Kai history besides Mr. Miyagi to be able to do the one-handed double kick, holding all of his weight on a single hand. Robby, in that same fight, was able to fight off Miguel with one of his arms out of commission. Robby was also one of the last fighters to defend Anthony in the flagship dojo fight, alongside Miguel, Dimitri, Sam, and Hawk. Robby again shows his strength when fighting Kenny, who is unable to even keep up with Robby during the tournament. So, as strong as both of these characters are, round 1 is going to go to Tommy. Tommy has had a lot more time training in strength and has faced on many more powerful enemies than Robby has. So with strength out of the way, let's look at speed. Robby has actually been shown to be one of the fastest fighters of Miyagi-Do. When Robby starts training Miyagi-Do, he's able to apply it even faster than Daniel was in the first 3 movies. Daniel even says that he was more of a natural than he was. Robby shows his speed again during the mall fight, where him, Sam, and kind of Dimitri are able to fight against Hawk, Mitch, Chris, and all the other Cobra Kais at the same time. One of Robby's biggest strengths is going to be his reaction time. Robby is shown to react quickly to opponents when he's outnumbered, and this is shown when Robby fights against the Cobras. He's able to take them all down, and the only one who gets a hit on him is Tori when she takes him by surprise. Robby does this again during many fights. He's often seen using his speed to sweep the enemy to the ground. He does this to Dimitri, Hawk, and most of his opponents during the All Valley. We also know that Robby is also quick to recover. We see this when Dimitri is able to bring Robby to the floor. He's able to quickly get up and avoid the strike that Dimitri was about to get. We see this again during the fight in Juvie, where Robby is consistently moving from opponent to opponent. Robby does this again, especially in the fight against Miguel in the apartment complex. Tommy is shown to be a very quick fighter. Tommy, like Robby, does very well in fights against many enemies. In the episode, When is Not a Ranger, we see Tommy is able to use his speed to his advantage, taking out many different putties. Tommy is quick, as we see him doing a constant quick flying kick when training to go against Jason in Green with Evil Part 1. Tommy shows his speed again against the Z putties in the episode 2 for 1, where Tommy and Kim have to fight about 5 putties on their own. One of Tommy's fastest fights was in the episode Z-Waves, and Tommy again uses his speed like Robby to sweep his opponents. Tommy is also able to keep up with evil Rangers, like we said before, who have tons of increased speed for a short time in Dimensions in Danger. Even again in Forever Red, Tommy uses his quick thinking when fighting against the Machine Empire. Tommy shows his quick thinking again in Dimensions in Danger, when he quickly summons the Falcon Zord to stop Draven's arrow. Tommy has to use his speed and quick thinking again when he fights against Ryu and M. Bison. So, it looks like when it goes to speed, this point is going to Tommy. Even as fast as Robby is, Tommy is a lot faster and a lot better at reacting to things. Now we come to the point of tricks. Tommy actually has quite a few different tricks, much like the tornado kick that Jason uses, where he uses them multiple times in a row. Tommy is also, like the other Rangers, able to flip over and around his enemies. Tommy is also shown that he has great balance. And even in the episode When is Not a Ranger, Tommy is able to defeat a Z-Putty with the one finger poke of destruction. Right? That's a real move, right? In many fights, Tommy is seen doing split kicks and using his flexibility. Tommy has also been shown to use other martial arts and body throws. He's able to launch putties through the air. When he's fighting alongside his other Rangers, he's able to work alongside Kim in sync. Tommy is even able to roll off the back of certain putties in certain fights. Robby uses Miyagi-Do. When Daniel trained Robby, he taught him many of the Miyagi-Do techniques. And although Robby himself has not used this technique, it's more than likely that Robby knows how to use the crane technique. Robby has also learned the wheel technique alongside Samantha LaRusso, and he's one of the 3 Eagle Fang fighters to use the Screaming Eagle technique. During his Miyagi-Do training, Robby also most likely learned the drum technique. Robby uses kata to keep himself focused during a fight. He also was taught balance using the tree. Him and the other Miyagi-Dos also learned Sochio Gecko and Kangekko, which increases reaction time. He again is the only other person besides Mr. Miyagi to do the one-handed double kick. So when it comes to tricks, it looks like we're gonna give this point to Robby Keene. Next, it comes to IQ. We know that Robby is actually a pretty clever character, but he's not as smart as Dimitri or Eli, but we do see he's pretty crafty. Robby is able to get a job at LaRusso Auto to mess with his father, and it worked. We see again that Robby's clever, because when Trey and Cruz want him to help them steal a car from LaRusso Auto, he's able to take the code he needs by using his phone at a certain angle. Robby continues to show his intelligence throughout the remaining seasons. Robby uses his quick thinking to help Sam escape being grounded, and him and Tori both use their smarts against Miguel and Sam so that they mess with their heads during the dance. When Robby is on the run during the time he ran from the cops, he is able to take a car from LaRusso Auto and get rid of the tracking device that Daniel had put onto the cars. Again, he uses his smarts to beat his enemies during the pepper eating contest. He does this by fake eating the final pepper, ergo winning him the challenge. During the fight against Miguel in the apartment, Robby constantly uses the stairs, railing, and air conditioner to his advantage. Again, during the fight with the surfers, Robby uses their own items against them. In Robby's second fight against Sean Payne, he uses his surroundings to his complete advantage, flipping off the walls, tables, and more. In Robby's first real fight, he goes against both Trey and Cruz at the same time, and he uses them against each other. At that point, he had been barely training with Daniel, and he's also smart enough to make sure that they're caught on camera. In working with Sam and Dimitri during the cafe fight, he uses Dimitri to his advantage and the setting around him to take all the fighters by surprise, especially Hawk. Now we know that Tommy is actually a pretty smart guy. He was one of the top 6 students at Angel Grove. Although he has been known to be forgetful, he is still really clever. Tommy, as he grows up, eventually becomes a paleontologist and a teacher at a school during Power Rangers Dino Thunder. But Tommy continues to grow in his journey as a Ranger. He becomes the leader of the Rangers. After becoming the White Ranger, Tommy has to lead his team through MMPR through Zia. He's able to come up with many plans to protect his teams, even through events like the Darkest Hour. Tommy has been shown to be a really clever character, always thinking on his feet, and he uses this a lot in his combat, much like Robby. One of the things he utilizes the most is his backpack, such as in the episode Green Dream, where he uses his backpack to take down sea putties. He does it again in the episode Life is a Masquerade against even more putties on his own. And even during his run as the White Ranger in the episode Win is Not a Ranger, him, Billy, and Kim all use their bags against putties, and even throwing putties off a nearby cliff. In the episode Monster of Global Proportions, Tommy is quick to use his environment, using the grass to blind the putties. Even in Tommy's first fight against the putties, where he hasn't had any powers at that point, he's seen using trash cans in the environment of the alleyway that he's in to take them down. As creative as these two are, the winner of this one is going to be Tommy. As smart as Robby is, Tommy's just a lot quicker and uses his IQ a lot faster. Robby also usually uses his IQ more for defense, unlike Tommy, who can use it for both defense and offense. We come down to experience once again. Robby begins his training with Daniel at the age of 15. Robby trains for about under a year with Daniel in Miyagi-Do. After the school fight, Robby goes to juvie and ends up going to Cobra Kai. But after Robby sees his mistakes, he then joins Miyagi Fang. Robby has actually had many different senseis, Daniel of course being his first main sensei. Later, when he joins Cobra Kai, Robby would train under John Kreese and Terry Silver. After the 2019 All Valley, he then goes to Johnny and begins to retrain in Miyagi-Do under both Johnny and Daniel. And even during Season 5, there's the addition of Chosen Taguchi becoming the third Miyagi Fang sensei. Robby has been training almost as long as Miguel, so he's been training for just about under 2 years. He's the third most experienced fighter under Sam and Miguel. So in total he has 2 dojos worth of experience, under 5 different senseis, in all 5 seasons. Now Tommy has been training in martial arts for quite a while. It's not known at what age Tommy began training in martial arts, but it was at a younger age than Robby. Tommy, we can assume, has trained for about 4 to 5 years, around the same amount of time as Jason. We figure this because by MMPR, he is a 3rd degree black belt. As Tommy grows up, he ends up becoming a 6th degree black belt by the time of Dino Thunder. Again, it's unknown who trained Tommy, but we do know he was trained for a short time like the other Rangers by Master Splinter. We know that Tommy's main martial art is karate, and we do know that he would always train with Jason, Zach, Billy, and later, Rocky and Adam. According to Jason David Frank, he said that Tommy was a mixed martial artist. It's said that Tommy knows 7 different styles of martial arts. They don't list all of them, but we do know that the list contains Taekwondo, Karate, Wing Chun, and Kung Fu. Not to mention that Jason David Frank himself was a kickboxer, so it's probably safe to assume that Tommy may have some kickboxing experience as well. So when it all comes down to experience, Tommy's taking this point for Robby. This means that it was a clean sweep for the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. The Miyagi Fangs will give them a good fight, but overall, the characters just have more experience, strength, speed, tricks, and IQ. They've been at this for a long time, and although they may be against some pretty formidable fighters, it's gonna come down to the point of experience. So, what do you think? Was I wrong about this? Maybe there's something I forgot. As of right now, this is the conclusion to our series. I hope you guys enjoyed watching these episodes. If you enjoyed these videos, please like and subscribe. It really helps my channel.